Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Tek Torrent Podcast. We got a fantastic show for you guys today. We're going to be talking about all sorts of things. First thing is Nvidia may not be at fault. I said may. And after that, we're going to talk about some things in my life, and I'm going to give you guys a quick review of the Bolt EUV Super Cruise, which is a feature on some of the new Chevrolet EV cars. It's only on 2, I think, at the moment, because, you know, Cadillac, Chevrolet, GMC, they all kind of work together. Let me know if you guys can hear me all right, if it looks good, if it sounds good, all that good stuff. Oh, am I muted? Am I muted? No, I'm not muted. Oh, scared for a second. Anyways, so let me know in live chat if you guys can't hear me, or if the audio stream is bad, or if the video stream is bad. Let me know. I'm going to do a quick roll call to everyone that we have in chat this evening. Thank you to everyone that is joining, by the way. We got Mrs. Crypto Tito. How you doing? She makes awesome cocoa bombs, by the way. We got Sonia Near. Wheelin' Crypto and Coffee. I did never seen you before. Thanks for joining. We got Here by Service. How you doing? Dave Collins. Thanks for joining. It is a good Saturday evening indeed. We got Junkie Cosmonaut, and thank you for also being a loyal follower. We really do appreciate it. Intense Countdown. I'm stoked. Yeah, I decided to change up the countdown a little bit to make it a little bit more interesting. The other one was getting a little long on the tooth. Let's see here. Dave Collins. Yep. Here by Service. Almost pulled a max. What? Does he start without you guys being able to hear him? I hope I don't do that. I do a lot of work to make sure that everything works prior to every stream. There's probably a good 30 minutes of hardware testing just to make sure all the bugs are worked out, and even that isn't enough for me to fix everything. Sometimes things still do happen. So how's everyone doing today, guys? Everyone having a good evening? We got an awesome Saturday. It is cold over here in New England. Man, I was outside today. It was like 30 degrees, 20 degrees this morning. I'm actually charging my car to 100% because it's going to be right around 20 degrees in the morning, and I want to see what my battery is going to be at and record that information. Because I want to... I was told that the range suffers quite greatly on electric cars, but honestly, if you're not driving more than 150 miles in a single sitting, it doesn't really matter. Like, just in my personal opinion, at least. All right, guys. So, as you guys know, we're going to go over our first topic today, which is about Nvidia, and how it may not be their fault. Now, remember I said may. So I don't have a water up here, so this is going to be bad. We're going to make this a short stream. Thought I got water before I started. A little bit right here. So basically, for those of you that don't know, what's been going on is Nvidia's connectors, technically not Nvidia's, they're by PCSig. I forget the whole name, but the adapter itself supplied by Nvidia was causing melting issues for a select few cards in some scenarios. So basically, Gamers Nexus spent like 2 weeks doing a whole bunch of testing, and he went over everything. And he found that it was actually not what they thought it was that was causing the cards to melt. He even simulated a situation where all the power was flowing through 2 contact points. All of it, all 600 watts. And even that wasn't enough to get it to melt. So after all that testing and all that hard work he did, what he basically found was 2 scenarios, essentially, what it comes down to, that can actually cause the connector to melt. One is foreign object debris. That's when you put it in and out and it gets dirty, or there's metal shavings, and that can cause basically more resistance when you plug it in, and the current can't flow as well. So when you do that, that makes more resistance, makes more heat, and then when you have more heat, you have more what? Resistance, especially when it comes to electricity. Let me see what the chat's saying real quick. All right, who keeps messaging me? They know I'm in a live stream right now. They need to stop messaging me at the moment. All right, so yeah, Hereby Service says, without a mic, no, you didn't. All good. Attains, how you doing, man? Thanks for joining the chat. Crypto Tito, hellos. Yes, hellos. Yeah, so that is basically what they have found. They used to, so Igor's lab, of course, did some testing, and they thought it was something else entirely. Uh-oh, am I getting a little choppy there? There, we're back to normal. Okay. Igor's lab did some testing and they found a different conclusion, and they already published the results. Gamers Nexus actually did a lot of scientific testing. He's one of my favorites. Sorry, he's gamer Jesus, guys. I can't help it. Anyways, he did a lot of testing and he found some interesting results as well. So those two scenarios are where it's most likely to fail. In fact, the way he got it to fail is when it wasn't inserted completely all the way and, you know, pulling out a couple of millimeters. I usually pop in a couple of millimeters, but, you know, anyways, so when the connector is not fully seated, it's not getting good contact and it's causing more resistance and more heat. And that is how it appears to have been melting. Of course, they're going to do more testing and more as time goes on, but it appears to be that it may not be 100% Nvidia's fault. It might actually be partly PCI SIG's design or someone else's fault entirely. Now, if you've seen these things, there's 4 8-pin PCIEs terminating to a little teeny 16-pin. That's a lot of weight on the cable. And I really don't see how that's a good idea. Like, that's a lot of weight, and it's going to something that's roughly the same size as a single 8-pin. So you got all that current, all that weight, and all that. It's like it's kind of not a surprise that we've been having problems with how people have been plugging these things in, you know, moving cards around, especially like people that are doing testing. You know, they're moving the cards around a lot, right? Let me just take a look at live chat real quick before we move on here. Let's see. Hereby Services, I heard those connectors were funky. Yes, so specifically the adapter from Nvidia was causing some issues. Native cables don't seem to have much of an issue. Native meaning that there's no adaptation directly out of the PSU to the 16-pin connector. Let's see. New England Crypto, how you doing? Thank you for joining the live stream. How you guys doing? Let's see. Brian Kirsch. Sorry, I don't know how to Charge. I'm not sure how to pronounce your last name. My apologies for butchering that. They need better connectors. Connectors. So it technically is a good connector. They did run all the current through 2 contact points and it survived, which is pretty impressive. It's I would say they need to engineer it to where there's some kind of indicator that says whether it's fully seated or not. Now, in the past, we've had those clips, and we all know those clips, they break off. They do all sorts of, like, some kind of, maybe, like, so in the industry with high voltage and stuff, there's things that make it so you know it's a firm connection. And if it's not, then it won't work at all. So in this case, you can kind of get a firm connection where the contacts kind of slide on, but they're not fully seated. They'll still provide current, but then it's going through a little smaller space, which can cause more resistance. So I'm not exactly sure what the solution is. I mean, they've already made the card. You got to remember, when the card comes out, they've already been developing it for like a year or 2. So it's very unlikely they're going to recall all the cards and put new connectors on them, unfortunately. And just to give everyone a quick reminder, it is made by PCI SIG, not Nvidia. Nvidia simply adopted the standard. Let's see. New England Crypto says, we are watching while eating family dinner. That's awesome, man. Yeah. Hello, Stella. How you doing? Hi, Rachel. Hope you guys are all doing well. And of course, little baby Boston. Hope you're doing well as well. Even if you don't understand me, I know you're watching and I appreciate it. So cute. Okay, yeah. So that's what's been going on with those connectors. If you guys have any questions about that or any comments, please let me know in the live chat. While that's going, I'm going to go ahead and continue to read chat, see what you guys have to say. There's quite a bit of delay because I, of course, need the best video quality, best audio quality. So there's like a 30-second to 40-second delay between what I see and what you guys, or rather, what I say and what you guys see, because YouTube takes a while to process it. Let's take a look in chat here. So Junkie Cosmonaut says, Nexus even got the connector to melt in the video. But cool that Nvidia's cooperating with RMAs. Aren't they sending new cards to those affected? Yes, so Nvidia and Zotac and I forget exactly who, they are all backing people 100% that did melt their connectors. They are taking care of them. As for the details on that, whether they get a new card or not, I'm not exactly aware. I, as you guys all know, are skipping this generation for now. I may go eventually 4090 Ti or something like that, But at the moment, I have no desire to upgrade either my CPU, RAM, motherboard, any of that. I'm perfectly happy with what I got, and it's I'm not ready for a $5,000 upgrade. New CPU, new motherboard, new water blocks. It's a lot of money, guys. Like when you go water cooling, it's expensive. So I don't want to like upgrade every year. That's just ridiculous. I don't got that kind of money. Dave Collins says clips too easy to break. Yes, those clips can get broken, and I actually have a lot of 8-pin connectors where the clips have broken, and I actually threw them all away because I had one incident where exactly that happened and it wasn't fully connected, and it was causing a lot of intermittent issues. So I actually threw all my broken ones away. By the way, guys, if you are watching and you are here, make sure you hit that like button to let YouTube know that you guys like this video. Otherwise, they'll keep pushing me down into the dirt. Hereby, sir. Wait, hold on. Let me see where this whole thing moved on me. All right. So, New England Crypto says everyone is smiling. Aw, that's cute. Well, I'm glad you guys are all watching. Let me know what you're eating for dinner, by the way, and who cooked it, more importantly. Hereby Service says, does the 4080 utilize the same type? Yes. So, as far as I know, every Founders Edition style card is going to be using that connector from this point forward. They started with last generation, like the 3060 Ti, all the way to all Founders Editions use the, see now it's a 12VWPR connector. That's the official name. It's a standard made by PCIe SIG, not to be confused with Sig Sauer, the gun company. It's a standard connector that Nvidia is using on all their Founders Editions, and they come with an adapter, and that's where the issues were happening, the adapter, very specifically. Some native cables were showing some signs, but I don't think there's any confirmed melting yet. There might be, but not like tested, like Gamers Nexus style. There was a lot of talk about how Nvidia was bad, and you know what? I agree. They're pretty greedy company. I mean, they're charging $1,600 for a card that not only more than what 6 months ago you're paying $2,000 for a 3090 Ti, something like that, and now it's $1,600 for a card that's significantly better. It's still overpriced, but it was only like 4 or 6 months ago difference. I mean, it came out this year. It's then, you know, of course the crypto crash happened, and you know, cards flooded the market. All right, let me take a look at the chat here. Dave Collins says, mods must love deleting my stuff. I'm actually watching the chat. I don't see anything getting deleted. At least I don't see it. If it's getting deleted, it usually tells me it is. As long as you don't say anything weird or like political, because YouTube really doesn't like that stuff these days. If you say anything with a politician's name or anything, it'll get upset and get mad. Let's see. Hereby Service says, first mass-produced run, probably some issues. Yeah, I mean, there's some things you could do testing in the lab, but there's some things you just can't really test for until you put it into the hands of people and get that randomness. That randomness is very difficult to reproduce in a lab. New England Crypto says, we are eating pre-made dinners from Dave's Market. LOL. Salmon for the ladies and meatloaf for daddy. Pour some gravy on it. Yeah, baby. I went to Hot Pot yesterday in Boston. I was seeing a friend, and that was pretty good. Although they did skimp out on the prime rib. They said they were giving us, prime shaved steak, but it felt like it was not prime. It was like a select or something. It was, the marbling was not, it looked like one red slice of meat. It wasn't as good looking. Dave Collins says, I tried rewording same thing twice. Nothing got through. No bad words. Yeah, bad words aren't allowed at all, unfortunately. Soul7, how you doing? Here in spirit. Thank you for coming by, man. Appreciate you being here. Yeah, for those of you that don't know, YouTube actually updated their algorithm or whatever that checks chatter and stuff. It's gotten more strict, and you have the option to make it more or less strict. Mine's on strict just because, you know, it's not really about the money, but it's that when I get a demerit on my account, something bad happens, then it like overall affects, and you get so many strikes and then you're out, simply. YouTube does not, I mean, the way they see it, there's hundreds of thousands of millions of content creators, and they don't care. They'll just get rid of you. And I do not want to risk that, so to speak. So mine, I believe, is set to more strict than not. Hereby service says true. People build computers. New England Crypto says Stella is laughing. Yes. I'm glad you're laughing, Stella. I hope you enjoy your food, by the way. If you're having salmon, yeah, salmon is really good. I love salmon. I wonder if Stella's into sushi at all. Hopefully we can get her to taste some sushi one day. All right, guys. So if you guys have any other questions on Nvidia's little 12-pin connect, 16-pin connector thing or anything like that, let me know in the live chat before I move on. I'm going to continue to read the chat and check it out. Otherwise, we're going to move on to the next subject, which is going to be the Super Cruise feature, which is basically autopilot on the vehicle that I recently purchased. All right. By the way, guys, do you guys hear any of the background music? Is it actually coming through to where it's a little bit audible? It should be just barely loud enough to get rid of the dead noise, the dead space. I don't know if it's actually set at a right level. It's hard for me to monitor these things when I'm doing it all by myself. I see it coming at -15, -50 dB, but no more than that. Let's see, live chat. Oh, salmon is the best. Yeah. I used to say salmon, but I was told that it's salmon. Salmon? Is that right? I don't know. Maybe we'll find out. All right, so next thing going on, guys. I don't really see in the live chat anything about the Nvidia connector here. So moving on to the next thing. So I want to talk about Super Cruise. For those of you that don't know, I recently purchased a Chevrolet Bolt, as in B, okay? Bolt EUV. EUV stands for Electric Utility Vehicle, not SUV, EUV. Now, the EUV is a slight variation of the Bolt EV. The Bolt EV is like a small hot hatch type shape. So with the Bolt EUV, they made it slightly longer and slightly taller into like a miniature SUV, otherwise known as a small crossover. So the differences between the two models, mine has a little bit less range, but other than that, everything is almost identical. In fact, the cabin space is almost identical. It's just the way it's been rearranged to make it feel a little more roomy. From the outside, the car does look different, but if you didn't have them side by side, it'd be kind of hard to tell until you look at the badging on the back. So it does have a feature called Super Cruise, and I'm going to show you an example of that here in a moment of a video that I recorded with my friend here. But basically what it does, it has cameras all around. It has a total of 7 cameras. 7? 6? I gotta go look at my notes, but 7 or 6 cameras. And those cameras all work together with a vision system and a radar system on the front of the car. And the radar, what it does is it detects distances from you to the other car and other obstacles. And it can kind of also detect pedestrians, like organic targets, things that are in shape of people that return a radar signature that is in the library of a person. So the way it works, it watches the lane for you on a pre-mapped highway. So they use LiDAR and all these other things to map the highway. That way they know exactly where the car is supposed to be in relation to highway. So it uses GPS, radar, and a pre-mapped LiDAR detailed super resolution, whatever version of the highway in its database. And it uses that to keep your vehicle centered in the lane and let you drive. So it will automatically brake, it'll automatically accelerate, and keep your vehicle centered in the lane and drive for you basically indefinitely, as long as the highway is mapped and you don't run into any situations the car can't handle. So some of those situations and all that, I'll get into it. It has some issues. It's not perfect. It's not like Tesla good. Like Tesla's is much better in my opinion. So let's kind of get into it here. Let me bring it up. So there's a video. Let me show. There we go. Transition. So this is me in the car, and we're just going to take a quick listen at this quick video here. Hey guys, TekShinji here. So this is one of the best applications of Super Cruise. We are currently on I-95 right now going northbound, and we are stuck in the middle of Saturday morning traffic. Morning? It's afternoon actually. It's 12:17. So in Saturday afternoon traffic, we're in stop and go traffic. Everything's moving kind of slow. This is probably one of the most stressful types of driving in traffic. I am not touching the wheel. My feet are not touching the pedals. The car is operating for me, steering, keeping me centered in the lane, accelerating and decelerating as needed to set my cruise control speed. So right now we're headed to a place and the car is just smoothly going and it's just excellent. This is like the future. You don't have to do anything. Just sit here and pay attention to the road because there is a little camera right here watching you. And that is the beauty of Super Cruise. Okay, so you guys can see in that little clip there, a little example of Super Cruise. And just to be clear, guys, this is not exclusive to electric cars. The Cadillac Escalade, whatever tier, I forget exactly what it's called, also comes with Super Cruise as well, but it's a different version of it. In my opinion, it's the like Super Cruise 2.0. It's the better version. That one can actually switch lanes and stuff. So let me transition back to me. There we go. Sorry, guys, didn't see me for a moment there. Anyways, yeah, so that feature is coming to gasoline cars as well. Now, the reason why they put it in electric cars first, I mean, it does have a lot of computers and stuff, so that might be part of the reason. In fact, if you watch the video, make sure you get subscribed if you're not already. If you watch the video I'll be releasing next month, reviewing the car, I'll go over where they put the Super Cruise module, which is a giant Nvidia GPU. It's like in the shape of a spare tire, like a half moon. It's like a wedge computer. It's kind of weird, actually. They put it in the back of the car in the trunk area. So let me take a look at the chat real quick. Let's see. Hereby Save It says, I don't hear music, I don't think. We hear no music. Okay, all right. So the music might be a little too low. I will increase it a tiny bit. Let me know if that's too much, by the way. Let's see. Tane says electric cars. Yeah, I know, Tanes. I know. Regardless of what you may think, there are certain advantages that both cars have. Hopefully one day we could take all those gasoline cars and take them out. No, I'm joking. I also understand everyone's don't have the same opinion on electric cars and stuff, and that's totally fine. There's a good reason for both. I believe the infrastructure is getting better for electric cars as time goes on. New England Crypto says the Jetsons are on their way to you now. Yes, the Jetsons car. You know, one thing I liked about the Jetsons car, it like folded down to a little cube and you put it like in a slot at work or whatever. That is what I liked about that one so much. Crypto Tito says, yep, I'll have tracking soon for ya. Tracking. Ooh, I'm talking about your Cocoa Bombs, I think. Let's see, CryptoTube, I sent an extra special one too. Oh, did you now? That's good to hear. Then Crypto says, yes. That's awesome. Yes, for those of you that don't know, she makes some of the best Cocoa Bombs, in my opinion. I am going to get a little mixer thing to mix them up a little easier though. Okay, so yeah. So it uses basically a computer, and you got to remember guys, 10 years ago, this wasn't really a thing yet. About 15-20 years ago, they had like DARPA was having like government competitions on which cars can navigate and stuff better. One thing I really like about Tesla's system is you do not need to be on a mapped highway. And if you download the full self-driving beta, you can even be on a city street. With this feature on my car, you cannot use it on a non-mapped highway. I say highway because it only works on divided mapped highways. If there's two ways of traffic without a divider, it will not work. It'll detect that. And of course, people know what the roads look like. I've actually been driving. I use it every day I go to work. So the path I take to work every day, about 70% of it, which is all highway basically, is mapped. And it works great. I just have to take over for the tolls because it will not drive through a low speed toll. It will drive through a full speed toll, but not a low speed toll. And it was actually pretty good regarding so there's an incident that I almost got into in Massachusetts. I was on Route 1 in Massachusetts, which is exit 66, for those of you that know. And cars in front of me suddenly stopped. Like, they just halted. And, of course, I had a full auto drive on, and I wasn't really paying attention. I might have been texting someone or something, allegedly. And the car fully stopped and braked for me. Like well before it was going to collide with the other car. Where I had like a good 20-30 feet. But it detected it. And the way it works, it has a radar module on front. And that radar module, man, I really want to take my bumper cover off and look how they did it. Because the radar module is connected to the steering wheel angle sensor. And it knows which way to, like what areas of the road to like look at and not look at, and that's also tied into the cameras, which look at the lanes on the ground. So for example, if you're in a turn, well, the radar module doesn't turn. It still, emits forward and gets the echoes back. It knows to look at the echoes on a certain side of the road in a certain direction. Because if it just looks straight, it'll think you're going to hit something even though you're in a turn, right? So it's pretty well made. I'm actually quite impressed because when you think about it, it's emitting radio frequencies going forward and getting echoes back on different things. Well, it's kind of going in like a flashlight, right? It's just kind of going in a directed forward area. And it knows which sections of that echo to listen to. It's actually really good. Let's take a look at chat real quick. Creating Space says white balance is good tonight. Yes, you could tell I'm wearing a white shirt. Let's see. Creating Space says there is a third-party company that has a product to enable full self-driving. So I hear yes, that is called the Coma Autopilot, and it works on many vehicles. I personally do not recommend it for. I'll get into that in a moment, but essentially what it is, like those radar detectors. Imagine like a radar detector and a GPS type device all in one. You mount it to your windshield, and then you plug that into your car, and that will basically drive the car for you on certain roads that are, compatible and whatnot. And it works pretty good. Now, it actually works on almost every bolt that was made. I forget which ears it doesn't, but it works on most bolts. It works on most. So basically, the way to think about it is if your car has electric power steering, so a motor gives you power steering instead of a hydraulic pump, it'll either have some limited functionality or it might be compatible. Not every car is. There's a lot of stuff that I could get into. So one of the things that some cars torque the wheel that controls the movement, the torque isn't high enough to actually be able to give enough energy all at once to do what it needs to do. So people have been hacking it to give it more power. But the danger with that is in the Coma Autopilot system is that it might give it too much power to when you grab the wheel, you won't be able to stop it. It might overpower you. And that's a very dangerous situation. So I would say if your car is compatible with full functionality, give it a try. It's kind of cool. As long as you understand you're, kind of getting into something that's untested here. And, you're basically using 100% vision. There's no radar on it. Some of them do have radar. Some of them can tap into the car's radar and stuff like that. But it's pretty cool. I guess I would say check it out if you guys are into that. It's kind of expensive, but you get full self-driving on the highway and some other select roads for not that much money. Let's see here. Let's take a look at chat. Techman TY, how you doing, man? Welcome to the live stream. Thanks for coming by. Maybe you can have a car read toxic Twitter stuff while it drives you. So in my car, I can actually set it to where it reads all my notifications out loud. I did turn that off because sometimes I get texts from people that say unsavory things. And if I have like my pastor in the car or like some friends from church, I don't want to, as I'm driving, Big Daddy 42069 says blah, 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 blah. You want to meet up tonight? I don't want like, my pastor to be like, so who's bagged Big Daddy 69 420 or whatever? And I'll be like, oh, that's just a coworker of mine. He thinks he's funny. Yeah, that won't fly very well, right? My pastor's probably watching this, dang it. Let's see here. Creating Space says, I think it works on most EVs equipped with dynamic cruise since it relies on certain sensors plus its own. Yes, that is exactly how it works. As for the compatibility, I'm not exactly sure. I never really looked into it because, so for example, on my car, it's a $2,200 upgrade. $2,200 for the feature. Plus, it's $30 a month after 3 years. After 3 years. I'll get into that a little bit more in a moment, but there's a subscription aspect to it. Everything's getting Tesla-fied, guys. At least it's not like BMW where you got to pay to have heated seats. I get it. Like, it's cheaper to make one car and then unlock features, production-wise. But also at the same time, it's my own darn car. I don't want to do that. I don't want to pay to have something unlocked. I just paid to have remote start unlocked on mine, which was angering because it's pretty nice. So, I mean, I'm not trying to sell anything Chevrolet here, but I can literally, you can kind of see right there, it looks like a remote key fob. I can literally start and stop my car from my watch, which is pretty fantastic. I like that. Unfortunately, it does not work if the phone is not tethered. So if I don't have my phone nearby, it won't work. The stupidest thing. What's the point of having it on your watch when you can't use it without the phone, right? I mean, I'll just go get the phone then. But it is nice, like if I'm in bed or something, I wake up, I'm like, it's time to go to work. Okay, start the car and go, and then I'll go back to sleep for another 15 minutes. But it is kind of nice. All right, let's see here. New England Crypto says, Rachel said, did he just say twerk? Say twerk. Twerk. Twitter? Twerk? I think I meant to say Twitter. New England Crypto says, creating space, any upload schedule? Oh yeah, he's doing something soon, guys. Something real soon. We got some plans. We got some plans. Creating Space says, New England Crypto, if I don't have a video published next week, you have permission to come smack me. Well, for those of you that don't know, they're geographically not too far from each other. I'm kind of far from them, but that's actually very possible for them. So guys, if you have any questions about the Super Cruise feature on my vehicle, or anything about anything we talked about tonight, because we're going to go into the ending portion of the stream here. That's all I really want to talk about tonight. We may start having guests pretty soon on the stream, so it'll get a little more interesting. You'll see more than one person. I know how boring it is to only have one person, so yeah, we're gonna have guests starting probably next week or December, depending on how things go. I'm still talking to certain people, gotta make sure everything is gonna work out. By the way, Creating Space, you said you like the color balance, right? I am using your LUT, the LUT that you created for me, so I do appreciate it. I think the LUT makes the picture look very good. My skin actually looks like how it looks in real life. Whenever I use a camera, it always makes me look like lighter and whiter. And if you that don't know, we do have a Discord, and it is one of the best Discords in the world. Personal opinion, of course. Yeah, it's not that active like those bigger Discords, but it's a pretty good community. We got a lot of enthusiasts in there, a lot of awesome people. We got a lot of good content going on, and last week's episode was actually inspired by content suggestions in our Discord. So the link to that Discord is linked in the description below. You guys can join down there. Make sure you guys also like the video, by the way. So what I meant by the content was inspired by, well, someone in our Discord was asking about something to do with electricity and music. So I went ahead, since I have a lot of experience with that actually, and I made a whole live stream about it and helped answer their questions. So if you have questions about things, put it down in there. There's a good chance I'll probably read it and turn it on. New England Crypto says, just turn Crypto tab on and you too will be fine. #CPU. Oh gosh, yeah, no, so actually, because this has been so problematic, I do a full restart no matter what, how stable my computer is before I go. And I do I do a bunch of testing before we actually go live to try to make sure we don't have any issues. I don't know, just me personally, my personal opinion, when you go live and you have all these audio issues and video issues and stuff, it just looks very unprofessional. And I just want to, I like to look like I know what I'm doing, and not like, you know, it's kind of like going to get coffee and the barista doesn't know how to use the machine. It makes you kind of wonder what you're paying for, right? Or what you're spending your time for. All right, let's take a look here. Creating Space says, how was Super Cruise in Stop and Go? Jerky or smooth? Oh, well, I guess you weren't here yet. So let me show you that video one last time, and then we will end the stream. So let me go ahead and change scenes here and take a listen. Hey guys, TekShinji here. So this is one of the best applications of Super Cruise. We are currently on I-95 right now going northbound, and we are stuck in the middle of Saturday morning traffic. It's afternoon actually, it's 12:17. So in Saturday afternoon traffic, we're in stop and go traffic, everything's moving kind of slow. This is probably one of the most stressful types of driving in traffic. I am not touching the wheel. My feet are not touching the pedals. The car is operating for me, steering, keeping me centered in the lane, accelerating and decelerating as needed to set my set cruise control speed. So right now we're headed to a place and the car is just smoothly going and it's just excellent. This is like the future. You don't have to do anything. Just sit here and pay attention to the road because there is a little camera right here watching you. And that is the beauty of Super Cruise. All right, transition back. I remembered this time. Yeah, so that was Super Cruise. I know that wasn't stop and go traffic, but literally we were in it. Then when we did like a test run to make sure the camera angles were all right and where we wanted to look while I was talking. And then when we started filming, it started picking up again. That's why it wasn't exactly stop and go. Now, it does work very well on stop and go traffic. It's not that jerky. I will say the car, the amount of distance it maintains, it treats it like a hard wall, like it's going to hit something. So even though you may be like 20 feet away, it'll hard brake to stop 20 feet away from that other car if the other car stops too quickly. The buffer cushion of like this distance is actually pretty solid, which I kind of don't like, but it's you know, it's not exactly an expensive car. Okay, you could get a Bolt EUV with Super Cruise as low as $40,000. There's no other car on the market that'll do that natively from the factory for that price, at least not yet. Soon, hopefully soon. All right, let's take a look here. New England Crypto says, all right, dinner is done and it's time to go upload this week, next video. It's been 2 weeks. I'm itching to upload. That's awesome. Awesome. Thank you, New England, for joining. We're actually going to be ending the stream here real quick. So thank you to everyone that joined tonight. Thank you for everyone that is watching right now, of course. And thank you for everyone that has joined. Make sure you hit that like button on the way out. Chris Stewart says, wow, that's cool. Yeah, it is really cool. Like, it's a lot cooler in person. Like, when you're on highway speeds, it's really cool. Don't worry. Make sure you get subscribed if you're not already, because there's going to be a video about that coming out next month. Well, with that, guys, we'll see you next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. Thank you to everyone that has joined, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.